The president of Syria, Bashir al-Assad, is dead because he was trying to escape his capital when rebels invaded and his plane crashed. But now, a lot of things are fishy about that. But I'll tell you something else if you can only watch to the end. Something that will blow your mind forever. It will permanently change the way you see things. But first of all, look at Damascus. And the guy boarded plane here and tried to escape, right? This color means that his plane is still ascending into the clouds. Now he's fully into the clouds. Once he fully got into the clouds, he changed direction, sharp turn, and started heading here. But when he got here, he started descending sharply and crashed. Something must have happened at this point. Look at something must have happened at this point that caused the plane to tip this way and eventually crashed. Now there are questions, right? First of all, why was he escaping? The rebels broke into the capital, right? Why did the rebels break into the capital? Because there was no military resistance. The military of his country did not resist. They just threw open the gates for the rebels. Why? It happened so terribly that the president had to escape the same day. Does that make sense to you? Why did it happen? Maybe his military generals refused to obey his order to counter the invading rebels. How did the rebels know that they should race towards the capital? Maybe somebody called them and told them that they should head towards the capital, that there's not going to be any resistance. Maybe. To the point that the president quickly jumped into a plane and decided to escape. And then the plane crashed. Fishy, right? That's to show you that all these things are drama. The global politics is a drama that doesn't concern you. The inflation level in your country does not concern you. Have you ever heard rich people complaining of inflation? It's always the poor because they are focusing on the wrong thing. Economics is fake news. Go and watch my video on that. I say that you should not worry yourself about economics. What products your country is importing or exporting, presidential economic policies. You don't have power to change this as an individual. You can't change nothing. You can't change nothing. You know, in that video I said that people going to the universities to study economics are wasting their time. It just gives you a university degree as a graduate, but that degree is not applicable anywhere. What can you change as an economist? Can you influence your country's choice of products to import? The way this man just ended shows that third world countries are controlled by powerful countries, just a handful, 2, 3, 4 powerful countries that have massive weapons. There's no kind of weapons these people don't have. So as a president, if you don't do what they want, your plane will fall out of the skies. Do you know how many planes of high political figures and presidents that fell out of the skies this year alone? Are you telling me that for a presidential jet there is no parachute? Like if something is really wrong, they couldn't have parachuted out? Nah. It probably fell too fast. You understand? Some of this, have you ever wondered why presidents of these third world countries, when they are sick, they will not treat themselves in their country. They will go to the first world countries to treat themselves. Imagine after treating yourself there, you go to your country to give a policy that is not that they don't want or they don't like. You will just collapse on stage from nowhere. You're in the middle of that speech. You don't go. You don't off you remotely. Use Wi-Fi. Off you. You can't change it as an individual. What you can change is your own personal finances. Once you take out your mind from all this is a drama. Look at how it's playing out in the media. You understand? Somebody in Syria is probably worrying now. Of course, I support if there's war in your country, you should escape, because that one now is threatening your life. But as for corruption, there's corruption in every country. You should worry about your personal finances, your personal happiness. Is your family okay? Are you living in the right neighborhood or where somebody will come and stab you at night? If you're not living in the right neighborhood, move to the right neighborhood and live. Are you living in your kind of house, your dream house? Does it have the number of rooms required to run your family? Do you have the gadgets you need in your house? Do you have constant electricity? Do you have this? Can you afford your bills? These are things you should bring down your head to and worry about and figure out how to fix them. These are the ones you can control. Do you need an extra degree from a university? Can you get it? Can you apply? These are things you can do. Worrying about which president is ruling which country, it doesn't matter. Let me tell you, I usually say this. The worst thing that can happen to you in Africa is for the president of your country to come from your town or village. Your people will suffer if your president comes from your place. Your people will suffer. Apart from appointing a handful of his cronies, political cronies that may be from your tribe, he's not going to do anything for your people. In fact, the worst terrorist attacks in the whole country will start happening to your own people. Go and check it. It's on history. Any president, pick any president, check his hometown. There's terrorist attack there. No improvement, zero. If the president can rule for 20 years, go to his hometown, zero improvement, nothing. It's almost like all of them were charmed. Happens to governors too. It's almost like they were charmed. So you should focus on your own development. Some of this in the media is just a movie, a never-ending movie for you. The moment you try to focus on something, the media will just show you another thing. This one happened, this one. You now focus on that thing. You waste hours watching, listening to news, watching this. Come on. What of your own personal finance? What is your family? Is your family happy? Are you okay? Are you in good terms with your family? What of your friends? Do you have the right friends? These are things you should worry about. All these presidents, third world, second world countries, all of them are being controlled remotely. Any day they do what is not allowed, they will off. You just heard that president died, or his military general took him out. Most of those presidents you are seeing, their military general is against them. They is an agent for a foreign government. So if the president overdo, the military general will, off him and take over government. Or do like the one that happened to this guy now. Decide to do nothing. Let's rebels come and take over. Bro, there's a lot of control happening. There's a lot of control. Focus on your own personal finances, well-being and happiness. That's where you create the most success. Before you can change the world, you have to change yourself first. Your power no reached that level. Do you get what I'm saying? The reason I said economics is fake news is that, do you think it's the economy of the country that determines the how they call it, the currency inflation? What an idiot. The people that are controlling your country will just put a call through to the president and say, do you want your plane to crash? Your plane crash, boom, 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 ding, ding, ding. The president will say no. I say, okay, now set your inflation level for this year to this. Devalue your currency to this figure, stop the importation of this, and then go to this one, start importing sand or toothpick. Before you know it, the economy will tank. It doesn't affect the president because he's doing well, his family is doing well, everybody's doing well. But you as a poor person in the street, it affects you. You start screaming, the president is stupid. Who told you the president is stupid? Do you think somebody can become a president and be stupid? Our politicians don't know what they're doing. Who told you they don't know? They are being controlled. Stooges, puppets. If you put your head there, you will see what they see and you will conform immediately. Otherwise, they will take you out. You just hear that there was this guy, his first son that would have been president had a road accident from nowhere. They're telling me presidential son had a road from nowhere. You might think that your plane, as a president, you might think your plane is secure. Do you know the weapons they have in space? They can use solar to zap you out of the sky. Do you know how many satellites we have in space? 3,000 minimum. Excluding the recent ones that have been launched in the past 10 years. That's an old number. 3,000. Do you know how many of them that can channel the sun rays down to your plane and off you? What of the ground? Do you know how many weapons they have positioned in certain locations that can zap you out of space? You can't, you see, once you are getting into that power level, do you know the elections are fake? Do you know that? After you are finished voting as an individual in some countries, right? Not all countries, in some countries, you get what I'm saying? After finished voting, they will declare anybody as president. Then they will call the other competitors and say, accept it, otherwise we'll probe you. Your property in our country will probe you for corruption. If your country, if your government says you are corrupt, how can you escape that? How can you prove that you're not corrupt?